mindful reality, analytical reality, TV, from a mental health perspective. I haven't covered so much reality TV lately, to be honest with you, because the only thing I've been presently watching is The Challenge. I did tell y'all, whoever was on one of my last lives, that I did start watching 99 to Beat. 99 to Beat is an interesting show. It gave me like hybrid Squid Game's a challenge, which I am gonna start watching at some point. Uh, and Brother, not necessarily the Big Brother part is really in terms of strategy, but you know how when you watch Big Brother, right? Uh, you know how when you watch Big Brother, some of the games are just kind of like ridiculous, carnival game type ish, right? So that's the Big Brother aspect. That's the Big Brother aspect that I find of 99 to Beat. 99 to Beat is a different concept. Like the challenge, right? If you watch the challenge, there's uh, a prize you get for finishing first, which could be like you get to choose your teammate or you get to choose who's going into elimination. Winning first guarantees your safety from going into elimination, those types of things. But 99 to Beat literally made that their tagline. Ken Jong Un, I'm probably saying his name wrong. Ken, the guy from the Korean guy from who's hosting 99 to Beat, the guy who used to have that doctor show. Um, he says to the end, "Hey, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's happening, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But what I do know is that I'm back. Apparently, guess who's back? Hey, back again. Hey, Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Do 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 do. Okay, so I don't even remember what I was talking about earlier. Oh yeah, I was talking about 99 to Beat, and I was saying, it's a pretty good show. It's not a show that really features storylines. And I messaged Kara. She didn't respond to me yet, but I told her because I know who she is, I can identify her and obviously her distinct red hair. But in terms of her being in the episode and that kind of thing, there's not too much of her featured in the episodes, but there's not too much of anyone unless you finish close to last. The people who are getting the biggest storylines on 99 to Beat are the ones that are almost finishing last place at the very end. So that's what's happening with that. The challenge, I'm watching the challenge, I'm always gonna be biased to my old vets, and as my old vets have been going out one by one, there was Kara with this, going to be with her mom, and then CT getting eliminated, and I think Bananas was on there at some point. He got eliminated. Like just the vets that made the show for me, and the vets that I grew up watching. As they go one by one, every time they leave, right? It's not the same feeling that I used to have. I'll tell you. I'll explain to you why I'm saying that. When those vets were in their heyday, young, prime, 20s, early 30s, that kind of thing, watching them leave the show was very sad, but sad in the sense of I was cheering for whoever it was to win. Like when Wes would get eliminated from one of the shows, because Wes is my favorite, as some of y'all know. I would be like, well, this is kind of gut wrenching, but at the same time, Wes will be back. Wes is young, and he loves doing the show, and he's gonna come back again and again, and he's gonna have more and more and more chances to win. When I see a vet that is 42, 43, 44, 45 losing on the show, what I'm thinking is not, well, they're young and they're hungry and they're going to get 100 more chances to do this again. I'm more thinking, is this going to be the time that they hang it up? And that's when I feel sad, because I'm like, a lot of these people are close to my age. Maybe they're a little older than me, but I'm in around that age bracket, in and around the age bracket that they are. So, watching them come back is something special for me, to see those people. They're pushing past their limits, they're pushing past their fears, and they're figuring out ways to use their minds to compete with people that are half their age. And I'm impressed by that. I enjoy watching that. It's something that I love. Right? Now, there's another side of this coin. The other side of this coin is looking at the younger people that are there, that are so good in the physical department because they're just, young and strong and athletic, right? Some of them are even smart. Not all, but definitely some. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also like, the people who paved the road. Why can't I talk right now? The people who paved the road, um, the people who paved the road for this show to be what it is over the past 2 decades had big personalities. The Johnny Bananas, the CTs, the Cara Marias, the Laurels, the who else? Jordans. Who, by the way, I forgot to tell y'all, thank you to those who provided me some money towards going to Florida. Those people who sent me money on my GoFundMe towards going to that event in Florida. I have some interesting news about that. I am trying to make the trip to Florida in December. Indeed. I don't know exactly how long I'll be there, but I don't know if I'm going to use that towards the Over the Edge event, which is the event that has all the reality TV stars that I was telling y'all about, or whether I'm going to use it towards well, I shouldn't say that I shouldn't say that I don't know which one I'm going to do. I'm definitely going to use the money that I was given towards Jordan's event that takes place on December 7th. Now, I am possibly, if I can swing it, going to use my own money to pay to be at one or two of the other events which feature all the other reality stars. Because I'll be honest with you, Chocolate asked me one time, one of my lives, she was just like, if somebody sponsored, that was crazy. Anyways, hi Ma, if somebody sponsored a trip for you, should I have turned down there? Ooh, ooh, yes, I should have. Anyways, um, my mistake. She said if somebody sponsored a trip for you to go down to Florida or to go to one of these events or whatever, would you go? And I said absolutely. As if it was a sponsored trip, for sure. Why would I not go? But The other thing is, like, there's some people who are paying in excess of $1,200, $1,300 to go and mingle with reality TV stars. No offense, there's some of them that I really do like, but I wouldn't pay that. So my favorite reality events that I've ever been to, right? Sam, The Circle, her event. I don't remember the exact price, but I think the tickets were like $15 to $20 for her thing. This thing that I just went to with Tucker a couple of weeks ago, his event was like his and his brother's event was like $12, right? Um, let's see. There's another one that's within that price range. Oh yeah, the thing with Cara, it wasn't no 12 or $15. However, it was like you pay $50, I want to say, maybe 60 at the most. The first one was definitely about 50, and the event spans from like eight, no, from about 6 o'clock to maybe 11 p.m. The first 2 hours or hour and a half to 2 hours is like a fibroids panel, and then the next 3 hours is a party. And even if you're not a partier, right? There's a buffet style food that is already covered. You don't pay anything extra for the food. And then there's like unlimited drinks. And then there's desserts, and then there's musical performances, there's a dance floor, like best way that you could spend your $50. And in my particular case, the last time I was there, we got to spend the majority of the night hanging with Cara, which was awesome, totally awesome. Because any of these other things I show you, at the most, we might have like a 10-minute conversation, and that's a lot. But to be somewhere that's not like you stand in line, and actually, Cara was like, "Hey, come over here and sit at my table." You know, like, I wasn't there the entire event, but I was there for a good portion of the time, just hanging out. We went to the photo booth. You know, it was a good, fun time. So my point is, even that, if she told me that that was $1,000, I'd be like, I'm a fan and all, but I'm not that big of a fan. I'm sorry. There's almost nobody that could get me to pay that kind of money for any weekend of events just for that. I don't know what Carl said, so I have no idea. I can't tell you because I haven't been reading the comments. Okay, let's see. I think he is gone, so I won't bother. Yeah, I don't know what Carl said. I sadly have a headache right now. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I guess I might watch The Amazing Race, depending on if The Amazing Race is 8:30 to 11 to 10. I'll definitely watch it because that's after the challenge is over. But if it is not that time period, I won't be watching it. But anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna be trying to do Jordan's event. I haven't bought a ticket yet. Hopefully, tickets will still be available by the time I can buy one, and I hope that I am able to compete. I hope that I'm able to win something. I mean, I don't expect to sit here and be like the best person in this whole competition or anything like that, but I just hope that I am competitive enough to make an impact, that I can rub some shoulders with some of those challenge people. You know, I at one point in time in my life applied for the challenge. So these are the shows that I've applied for in the course of my lifetime. I applied for the Real World, and I didn't apply for the Real World because I was just like, oh, I really want to be on the Real World. I applied for the Real World because it seemed like the Real World was an avenue to get on the challenge. And from what I've heard in all these later cast interviews, I've heard a lot of cast of that are currently on the challenge or formerly on the challenge that said the same. They were like, I wasn't a big fan of being on the Real World. Like that was never my aspiration. But at the same time, um, I knew that it would be easier for me to get on the challenge if I went on the Real World first. So that was really my inspiration for applying for the Real World. I think that I made it to the third stage, but the thing is, at the time when I applied for it, it was online videos. Like you answer some questions on video, record yourself, and send it in. So when I say I made it through the third stage, the way that they were doing it that particular year, because I only applied 1 year, the way they were doing it that year was that you put your video up, and then it depends on fan votes to get you through the first few rounds. So I made it through the first round with fan votes. I made it through the second round. I made it to the third round with the fan votes, and I believe once you got to the third round, the votes, I think production or something. I'm probably not remembering it 100% accurately, but I want to say that production looked at your video and determined who was going to make the cuts to get to the next round. And I didn't make those cuts, so I'm not enough of a fan to have magic. Well, I'm not even speaking of a real 1K because I don't have 1K to spend. But I'm saying if I did have 1K to spend, even if even if I decided, if somebody gave me enough time to save my money enough to have 1K for that event or whatever, I just would. My point is not. I'm never really speaking in literal terms. I'm not literally like I'm withholding my $1,000. I wish. I'm like, you know what? I have the 1,000, but I'm like withholding it because I don't think that it's worth it for me to spend my $1,000 that I have towards this particular thing. But for me, in my case, it's just more like I'm saying, if I had that $1,000, I would have things that I consider better better to spend it on. Let's see. What am I doing here? What am I looking for? I know what I'm looking for. Why can't I find it? That's actually genuinely my question. I need to stop reading comments until I finish my thought. Okay, so I was talking about. Oh yeah, I was talking about my real world application. Here it is. Yeah, I was talking about my real world application and how I got to round three of those online. Uh, I got to round three of the online auditions or whatever. I never got a call for like a casting call or whatever. Um, that was one, the real world. The challenge. How did I apply for the challenge? I think I also sent in an audition video for the challenge. I think that I made it to the second round of auditions, and I made a second video or something, and then I didn't make it past that. I started and stopped the Big Brother application several times, but I don't think I'm ever going to do that. Um, what other shows? What other shows? I applied for Don't Forget the Lyrics. That was going to be filming in Ireland, and for some reason, I thought that I had impressed them enough to get on the show because I actually got a call. This is such and such from Don't Forget the Lyrics. Are you available this and this time to travel to Ireland from this day to this day? Are you able to be off of work for that amount of time? Travel is covered, your stay is covered, you get a stipend for food. I was like, this is really happening. And then the dude was like, are you a big music fan? What are your favorite genres? And then he was just like, do you sing? I said, yeah. He was like, can you sing a song? And I was like, okay. I said, what song? He said, I don't know, sing Happy Birthday. And I said, Happy Birthday, the original one or the Stevie Wonder one? He was like, either one of them. And I was like, Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. It probably sounded a lot worse because um, I was nervous on the phone. I never had a call like that in my life. And anyways, I didn't get another call after that, and I was all prepared to like go over to Ireland and do my thing in Ireland. I didn't think I was gonna be good at Don't Forget the Lyrics because I am terrible with lyrics. I used to be a genius with lyrics. I could hear a song two times, and then I could go through all the lyrics verbatim, verbatim. I could go through all those lyrics, but 2025 Mark does not have that kind of memory. Unfortunately, I don't. Um, let's see. Don't forget what did I list? The challenge, the real world. Don't forget the lyrics. There must be others. I don't think I ever applied for any of the. I don't think I ever applied for any of the dating shows because I wouldn't want to be on one of those. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I think that might be it. It's a possibility that I only applied for those three, but I did think about all the different shows that I might have liked to be on. And then at one time, I wanted to be an actor. In my head, I would still like to be an actor, but I think that acting would be so intense for me that I would rather be able to act for something like a YouTube series where I pick and choose my own hours and I'm not sitting on a set for, you know, hella several hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Maybe one day we'll get that done. Maybe we never will. I don't know. There's a lot of things in my life that operate like that at a stage. Like, I sit here and I think of many, many different things that I've done. And my computer and my phone are great reminders of all the things I've done in my life, which is a lot. I have not just sat down in an office. Even though that's what I do now, that's not what I did for a large portion of my life. I would have a whole work schedule in office or whatever I was doing, and then I'd have a whole 8 hours when I leave the office dedicated towards side side projects or whatever. So yeah, I always think about unfinished business and unfinished projects. Makes me sad sometimes, but you know what? I do also say until my life is over, no project is ever finished. With that said, I'm jumping off this thing. Please make sure
to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell.